The Brewers make multiple moves all throughout their minor league system. Two players will get called up to Double-A Biloxi, and one player by the name of Cooper Pratt seems to make his major league debut upcoming on Tuesday. I welcome you into another episode of Brewers Digest. I am your host, Taylor Bretl, and I got you covered on everything you need to know about the Milwaukee Brewers. Three big moves today across the minor league system, and one of them getting bumped up to the major league roster. A very exciting time of the year for all of these prospects. But before I get into the video, I want to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, which is PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 sports picks app and the best way to get in on all of the action. I'll dive into some picks and some promotions that they have on later in this episode, but right now, make sure to download the app using the link that I'll have in the description and pinned comment. And if you use code DIGEST to sign up today, as a new user, you get $50 instantly when you play your first $5. Helps the show out a ton, helps out Digest Media a ton, so make sure to check out PrizePicks. But there are three big names that got the calls up, I should say, another level. Two of them going from high A Wisconsin Timberrattlers to the Biloxi Shuckers, which is the Brewers Double-A, and then one name going from the Nashville Sounds to the Milwaukee Brewers. I got to dive in to the two guys that get the call up to Double-A first, though, and I'm going to start off with Josh Adamczewski, which I believe I'm pronouncing that correct. A pretty long last name, but nonetheless an exciting call up for this young kid. Did get drafted as kind of an infield prospect, but more recently this season has been playing in left field, has logged 49 games actually at that position. He gets the call up to the Double-A level, and I want to take a look at what he has done so far this season. Here are his career stats. He's been in the Brewers organization since 2023, but you go to this 2026 season where he has only played in high A with the Timberrattlers through 50 games. He is having an OPS over 1,000, batting .331, just absolutely dominating. You can see the power with 9 home runs, driving in a lot of runners with 38. High walk percentage, again, a .464 on base percentage, 41 walks across 50 games. Those are just beautiful numbers. Everything I really love to see here from Adamczewski that I like so far. Again, an infield prospect is how he was drafted. Now he's played a little bit more left field. It'll be interesting to see how he kind of fits in a little bit more when he moves up to Double-A. Maybe that'll get moved around a little bit, but have to give credit to what he did in the month of June. I'll actually throw this up on the big screen because these are big numbers to look at. In the month of June, that definitely earned him this call up. He slashed .438, .526, and .719. A .719 slugging percentage is absolutely insane. I know that it's not the biggest portion size, just a couple of games in the month of June, but that is a big reason why he got the call up. We turn over to some of his stats here. Credit to TJ Stats for all of these analytical pieces right here. And there is lots near the far right side, which is where you want to be. The 99th percentile in WOBA, which is one of the most important offensive statistics. In my personal opinion, a big thing here too, does not strike out much and walks a lot. I already touched on that high walk percentage, but doesn't strike out much. Puts the ball in play a good amount, and he is a very exciting prospect, just 21 years old as well. And again, you can see the position at the top, listed as a shortstop. He's played a lot more left field this season. He's also played second base. So he's really a flexible player. It will be interesting to see how the Brewers do move him around when he gets more involved, when he gets higher up in the minor league system. But that is the first name that got the call up to the Double-A level. We're going to turn on over to the next one, and we go to Andrew Fischer, who is out of Tennessee. One of the top picks for the Milwaukee Brewers just a couple years back. He has played mainly third base for the Brewers at the high A level with the Timberrattlers, and this is a name that really excites me. Lots of power. There's a lot of swing and miss, so that's why he's only at the Double-A level, but he is one of the most exciting prospects in my personal opinion. You go to his stats, he was just drafted recently, like I said, 2025. So 2026, this year is only his second year in the minor leagues. He started at high A through 2025, only played 19 games there, but so far this season, 54 games at the high A level, and he has been very strong with the Timberrattlers. You look at it, I know the batting average, 298. I don't mean to make that sound low, but, a lot of these prospects for the Brewers feels like they're all hitting over 300. A 298 batting average, but an OPS of 1.118 really shows the power that Fischer has. And when you look at the month of June, which I'll pull up on the big screen for you as well, his month of June was absolutely incredible. 419 batting average, 591 on base percentage, and a 935 slugging percentage. You look at the homers right there, just a couple of games in the month of June, he told totaled 5 homers, driving in 13 runners. And it's nice to see that he walks a good amount as well. I know he's a big power hitter. That's what the Brewers drafted him for. That's what he has really shown. But he is able to get on base in other ways, which I think is going to be very important for his production. We go to his stats right here. Once again, per TJ Stats, and very good numbers here in some aspects, but there's a lot that can be learned. With Andrew Fischer being the power hitter that he is, there are a lot of swing attempts. So the whiffs, has a lot of whiffs, has a lot of strikeouts, has a lot of swing and miss. I know those are 3 things that sound like 3 massive cons, but man, when this guy connects, it is absolutely crushed. And again, like I touched on just a couple of minutes ago, his walk percentage, that is very nice that he is able to get on base in that way. He's not one of those guys that's just up in there swinging and missing, and it's either a homer or a strikeout. He's still a threat at the plate, able to draw a walk. I think that is very huge and a big reason why he got that call up, because his issues a little bit earlier in his minor league career, again, he's only really been in high A with the Timberrattlers, was getting on base. He had the power, we saw it, but there was a lot of swing and miss. That was a concern on if he was able to progress to the next level, and it appears that Fischer is ready to get that call. But the third and final name that got the big call going from AAA with the Nashville Sounds to the Major League roster for the Milwaukee Brewers, it is Cooper Pratt, who the Brewers signed to a contract. This is a very exciting one in my personal opinion. I'll actually put this post up. This is on X from Bob Nightingale, who really touched on the move. It's a shortstop, Cooper Pratt, who signed an 8-year, $50.75 million contract in April with the Brewers, is now being called up to the big leagues. He's expected to be in the Brewers starting lineup Tuesday against the Cleveland Guardians. That is something that I wanted to touch on. This is one of the names that the Brewers signed to a contract before he actually got to the major league level. We saw Milwaukee also do this with Luis Lara just a couple of days ago. They did this with Jackson Chourio before he got to the majors. That contract is looking absolutely phenomenal. He had a homer in today's win against the Phillies. But Cooper Pratt, I want to say hopefully this is an only contract, only getting $50.75 million over an 8-year contract. Hopefully the Brewers are successful again, betting on a player before he gets to that major league level. Cooper Pratt is one of the most exciting names in the Brewers prospect list, and I want to put this up right here. Very neat, getting hugs from teammates. Actually, it's a little bit small. We'll put it on the right side. It's a little small. You know what? It's a little small image that I got, but it's a big moment for Cooper Pratt. You know, if there's technical errors, we let the show roll on. There it goes. I was about to say, I thought I had that right. Nonetheless, he's getting hugs from all of his teammates, from all of his coaches. He got pulled mid-game today in AAA in the top of the 6th inning because he heard he got that call. So kind of a fun way, kind of a sad way to be in your last game because you don't actually get to finish it, but a fun way for him to get a call up being around all of your friends and teammates. But I do want to take a look at his stats because his might look a little bit different than what most people will think, because we've talked about these really high batting averages, this high power, but Cooper Pratt, really just a guy that smacks some singles and he has some speed, kind of a typical infielder for the Milwaukee Brewers. You look at him, he's a shortstop. He's played shortstop basically every single game of his minor league career, so that's where he is expected to play. I'll touch on that in a video in the future, maybe if Luis Rengifo is the name that is no longer with the Milwaukee Brewers. Pratt will play short, and you got Joey Ortiz at third, swapping with David Hamilton. Lots of questions there, but we look at the stats right here for Cooper Pratt. Not too much power. Slugging percentage this year, just .386 and a .241 batting average, but he is able to get on base a lot. .241 batting average, but a .349 on base clip is very strong to see from a prospect. Another big reason why Pratt got the call up. But you look right here as well, his stats per TJ Stats, not much in the power surge, but he is very patient at the plate despite the .291 batting average, does not strike out much, does not have a lot of swing and miss, and he walks a decent amount of time. So I do really like Pratt. I like this call-up. You get it in mid-June. Give him time to develop. With the Brewers rolling, you don't want to really call him up late, and then he has to really figure it out in the majors right away. Get him in there comfortably. But Pratt has a pretty big frame as well. You look at the top there, despite being a shortstop at 21 years old, he's 6'4" and 210 pounds. So he's got some power on him. It'll be interesting to see if that gets unlocked at the major league level. I do want to take a look at his scouting report as well. And he got compared, if it loads in right here, there it is. He got compared to Gunnar Henderson. That was the main scouting grade that he got a comparison for. Gunnar Henderson, a very star player for the Baltimore Orioles. He's had a little bit of an up and down career. Early earlier, but he was one of the top rookies in his class, a very big piece on the Orioles playoff push. And to get a comparison with a guy like Gunnar Henderson, a guy that represented Team USA alongside Milwaukee Brewers like Bryce Terang, it is a pretty high honor, and it's very exciting to see that Cooper Pratt is the one that gets that big call up. But again, I'll make sure to have a video on that a little bit later. But before I close this out, I have to give a shout out once more to Prize Picks for being today's sponsor. Prize Picks has many promotions going on. They got the Scary Hours boost that just unfortunately finished because the NBA playoffs are officially over. But maybe you want to wait until Friday. They have Flex Friday, which is back in full swing. You can boost your end of the week by using Flex Friday Payout Boost to get a 40% higher payout every Friday. But maybe you don't want to wait till Friday. Maybe you only want to wait till Tuesday. They have a thing called Taco Tuesday. It says the tacos are going nowhere. Their board is serving up discounted projections on Tuesday all day long. So lots of things to pay attention on Prize Picks. Don't want to miss out on that. You don't want to miss out on more news on the Milwaukee Brewers. So feel free to subscribe to the show. There's lots of excitement around the Brewers organization and even the minor league levels that are just shy of the major league level. But that's all I got for this episode of Brewers Digest. I appreciate you tuning in as always and hoping that the crew can continue it rolling. They just beat the Phillies. Nice series win there. They got the Cleveland Guardians coming to town, which should be Cooper Pratt's MLB debut on Tuesday.